Hi, everyone. How do you stop self criticism? We'll be talking about nervous system healing for Black women today. If you are new here, my name is Marissa Price. I am a liberatory healing practitioner helping Black women and femmes come back into our authentic selves after trauma, rise after the things that we have experienced, create safe spaces for us to process. And really be in community and support one another through these trying times that we are in. So I have a wonderful guest with me today, Marissa T, the other Marissa, aka Enough by MNT on YouTube, who is the guest facilitator during week 2 of Silence Your Inner Critic, my upcoming group healing program starting on Sunday, January 11th. So I'll pass it over to Marissa to introduce herself.
Hi everybody. Thank you, Marissa, for having me here. I am an artist that really focuses on using art as a place for healing and also making that practice as accessible as possible. And I do that through a lot of upcycling. My YouTube channel is on hiatus currently, so I know it's like things are going well, but I'm so glad to be here with all of you.
Yes, yes, yes. So glad to have you here. I wanted to just take a second and ask you your upcoming group guest facilitation during
Mhm.
week 2 of Silence Your Inner Critic. For those of you who don't know, during the first cohort of Silence Your Inner Critic, Marissa was a guest facilitator as well. Oh, I see Lavendula. Hey,
Hey, friend,
welcome,
hey.
welcome. And she walked us through this incredible exercise. I still have it here. So if you can see this, where we kind of visualize ourselves and then create our inner critic, like a depiction of our inner critic, and then write some stuff down so we can start to visualize like who we are authentically and who the inner critic is, and the messages that we're receiving from this voice that we have internalized. And so I think that's so important. That was such a life changing exercise for me, which I've shared with Marissa, but really being able to depict what the inner critic looks like so that I can start to like uproot it from my psyche was so important. And so I just want to ask you, what are you planning for your guest facilitation session in this cohort? Anything that you want to share?
Um, yeah, so I love the topic overall of silencing your inner critic. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And so for this particular session, I think that it's a really powerful exercise. So we're gonna do that again. As far as I know, we have all new members, so I'm so excited for anybody that's gonna be there. And with any art practices that I do, I try and make them super accessible. So all you need is paper and pencil or paper and a pen. And we're going to be just taking some time to like uproot those, all of those thoughts that we have in our heads that are the critical thoughts that we have to ourselves. I'm not good enough. Who am I to
Mm-hmm.
do this? We all have different things, and then we're gonna be taking some time to figure out like who is this that's saying this to us, and then after that, then using the power of creativity to really reclaim who we are and how we want to talk to ourselves. So when that critic shows up, that we now have this like compassionate warrior inside of us also that we can have show up too and talk to that and really work on, instead of just trying to drown out that critic, treating it with compassion, so that we can move forward fully integrated and fully as our wonderful, beautiful creative selves.
I love that. I love that. I want to ask you about the healing power of creativity,
Mhm.
as you have shared on your YouTube channel. And for those of you who don't know, Marissa is a wonderful, amazing, talented, gifted artist. But yeah, what has the healing power of creativity been for you? Some of us may think that we are not like creative or artists, and I'll say like Marissa and I met in Alicia Renice's community, The Garden, where we were all like rediscovering our creative gifts, right? And so, what has that power been for you? Like the healing power of creativity? Anything that you want to share?
Yeah, honestly, like creativity has been like like a life source for me. I was maybe like 5 years ago now. It like it's crazy to think it was that far away. I felt like I totally just abandoned myself. I've always been a creative person, but just like trying to go through like, having a normal corporate job and get through the day today of that and being a mom and being a partner and just being very busy, I like convinced myself that I didn't have time to be creative and that it was like frivolous. And I was like truly miserable. I was miserable to be around. And y'all good?
Yes, sorry.
Oh,
I think my
okay,
Wi-Fi
okay,
went
cool.
out. I'm back. Thank you.
Oh, okay, no, all good. That happens to me like every live. It's a sign maybe we're talking about some good stuff. Um, but um, So I was actually in therapy, and my therapist said, like, what was something that your 9-year-old self used to like to do? And I realized, like, oh yeah, I kind of was creative. And so I just slowly started to tap back into allowing myself to just have like tiny moments of creativity, and it just truly like just transformed my life, like just by like I'm trying to remember like the first time that I was like, let me try and, make something again. I think I was like, I didn't want to buy paint because I was like, I don't want to invest in this if I'm not serious about it. So I was like, you know what? I could try and paint with coffee. And so then that like brought me down like the little rabbit hole of, being where I am now. And creativity is like anytime I'm having a bad day, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm joyful, like I lean back on that tool set of I am a creative being, let me go create.
Hmm.
I hope that
It's
answered the
amazing.
question.
It did. It did. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah. And so sometimes we feel like we have to have like all these like expensive or like premium products in order to start the creative process. But you said you just started with coffee. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I started with yeah, coffee, and then my son
That's
has like a
amazing.
paint kit set, so I use one of his paintbrushes and a pencil. Like I really just used what I had, and even like to this day, right before we got on this call, well, right before we went live, I was just showing you my little art journal, and like so oftentimes like if I get junk mail in the mail, if I see something pretty in there, I'm gonna rip that off and use that in my art. Yeah, I don't ever want there to be a barrier to me creating. And I don't think that
Hmm.
there should be a barrier. We can create with whatever it is, even if it's like your day is totally jam-packed and you can't add anything else in there, but every day you fill up your cup with water, and you can do that in a
Hmm.
creative way. You put the water in the cup and you swirl it around and look at the patterns in there. That can be your moment that you steal back of creativity. It's so upsetting to me how creativity has been placed as a thing that you is a luxury and we need lots of time to access. I think it's
Hmm.
it's clearly I'm really passionate about it, but I think that like it's part of so many of our beings. It expresses itself um for everyone in a different way, but I think that
Hmm.
it's just there's this book called The Artist Way, and by Julia Cameron, and she calls it artist abuse, to not allow yourself to create.
Mm.
And like
Interesting.
in
Hmm.
looking back, like it's so real. Like if you have that hankering to create and you don't allow yourself to express that, it is abusive to yourself. You're not allowing yourself to live in the fullness of you.
Hmm. Ooh, that's a really powerful term, artist abuse. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to ask just about self compassion.
Mhm.
And I guess how like the creative process can help with that, with really tapping into this feeling of self compassion. If you have been highly critical of yourself, I know that the exercise that you walk us through within Silence Your Inner Critic, right, to depict what the inner critic looks like and then who you are outside of that can be really helpful. But any other things that you've come across just as an artist with the power of art to help us embrace self compassion that you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then I had like a note on this because I wanted to make sure I said it. Give me one sec to just find it.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Can't find it, so I'm guessing going off the cuff. But so the wonderful thing about art and creativity is um it can often like show you things and allow you to access things that maybe you don't feel comfortable saying or speaking. Um, because we all have so much practice in not being compassionate towards ourselves, pushing ourselves, past the brink. And the thing about art, it can open you up to um fully see those parts of yourself that you don't always allow to happen. And when you're creating art, it's let me think about the right word for this.
Hmm.
Okay, so to allow yourself time to create and to go into that creative process, it's a really nurturing process.
Mm, I
Um,
love that word.
and it
Hmm.
and it requires that that you be okay with a little bit of the unknown, and then the acceptance of whatever whatever comes out, you're gonna work with it. And so it's teaching you to be self-compassionate in that very moment.
Hmm.
And then the other thing that I love about art and how it can allow you to access self-compassion is it teaches you that you get unlimited chances. Like it's
Ooh.
not that serious. It's just paper, you know?
Hmm.
Comes out bad, you just trash it. Comes out great, that's awesome. Um, yeah, so many times in life we feel like we have to get it all right. We have
Hmm.
to the stakes are so high. Um, and art is one of those places um, that you're allowed to just go with the flow and see what comes to you. And like the mistakes can actually be what's beautiful. The imperfect can be what's beautiful. So I think it really flips on its head a lot of the things that we are the rigidity that we're forced to conform to in everyday life. And
Mm.
so I think that it allows us to tap into a bit of compassion in a way that's a bit more gentle than
Hmm.
other practices, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I love that. I'm going to carry that with me, like unlimited chances, right? Because I think even some of the hesitation around just allowing yourself to be creative or artistic is that you have to get it perfect in
Mhm.
order to do it. And that just kind of frees you, right? No, you don't. Like you said, you can crumble up the paper, you can get a new piece of paper, you can start over again. There is no like point where it's like you're out of chances, you're out of pieces of paper, right? You can just get something else. And Marissa is so great about like recycling things, right? To use them in different ways, which I've like never considered before. But you can use different things as part of your practice, right? There's, as you said, unlimited chances to start again. I think that's amazing. Yes. I want to ask just any changes that you have maybe experienced in your art practice when it comes to silencing your inner critic, right? Through the practice of art, through the practice of creating. Anything that you've noticed as you have delving back in to this gift that you have, right? To create things, to bring things to life. And have you noticed like your inner critic kind of quieting down as you've honored these parts of yourself?
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. So when I first was like, so I had that experience in therapy and I tried out art again. And the first things I made, like honestly, were really like ugly and like underwhelming. And I was really disappointed. And I was like, you know what? If I want to be an artist, it has to be impressive.
Mm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
dove really heavy into I'm gonna learn how to paint realistic people, and I'm like nobody can contest that I am a great artist. And like that was really toxic. But so I kept along in my art journey, and the more and more that um that I keep on creating, I keep on showing up. What has changed for me is I'm no longer like celebrating the outcome of what I've made. I'm celebrating the fact that I showed up to make the work. Um,
Mm,
I
wow.
am, yeah. So like just the fact that I chose to create, like it's already a win. It doesn't matter what it comes out like, and I'm not celebrating. I'm not thinking like as I'm creating. Like, what color choices will impress people? What's gonna like kill other people? I'm thinking about like what feels good for me to make right now. Um,
Mhm,
does my art look probably like less impressive now? Yeah. Does will less people probably like resonate it? Yeah, probably. Did it feel amazingly freeing to make?
mhm,
Absolutely. Do I have the capacity to show up and create more often because I'm being authentic? Yes, absolutely. And so that's what I have learned. It's like art is truly about the process and not about the product. And
mhm,
so that has been, yeah, the main, the main lesson. And I'm so grateful for that lesson too, because it allows me to also like empower other people to create as well. Because I think
mhm,
that's the important part of it is just the making. It honestly does not matter what you make or how beautiful it is. It's that you showed up, you gave that time for yourself and you made something.
mm. That's amazing. That's amazing. So the win is in deciding to do it, right? And not the outcome, not anything that we can't control because we can't really control the outcome or the finished product. But the win is in the process, in deciding to do this thing that has been calling to you. Um, I think that's amazing. And also, like you said, it's about you when creating. And I think I've had to really take that on as like a digital entrepreneur, right? It's about me and the things that I want to create versus feeling this outside pressure of people who don't really align with my message, right? And the things that I'm creating. It's really about what I want to bring to the world first versus feeling that expectation that other people may put on us for it to look a certain way or show up a certain way. I love that. I love that. I just want to ask you, so as an artist, have you noticed anything that happens when people are able to express themselves through art, right? I know you said like there are things that we can't necessarily express in words sometimes that art helps us with. Have you just like observed any changes, I guess, when you walk people through these exercises? How they're able to see themselves, how they're able to embrace more self compassion, anything that stands out as you've been working with people to make this transition into a more like gentle place with themselves?
Um, yeah, definitely. One thing that definitely stands out to me, like if I'm working with like kids, like people that are like actively working or elderly, anyone, I feel like our world is so designed to make us hustle, hustle, push, hurry,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like across the board, what I see is taking that time like to create, it does like slow you down. And it's like kind of meditative. I know like a lot of people they have trouble like sitting down and taking that time to like maybe meditate in a traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
Or like even doing like breath work is really hard for a lot of people. Um, but like something about, grabbing a pencil and having to, create something, or if you're doing collage, whatever it is, it immediately puts you into that meditative state. Your breathing becomes regulated. You're no longer overthinking because it's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to like be in your head um, while you're also trying to like make an output with like your hands. And so it takes you out of that space. And so like the more and more that you are showing up for those like slower moments, even if it's just like 1 or 2 minutes, of just like
Mm-hmm.
literally drawing circles, it does have like that same effect of just regulating you, like a breath practice or meditation can do.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
I see
Sorry, I
Danny.
just saw Danny.
Hey. Welcome. Yeah. That's so important. That's so important. Like the regulation practices, as you mentioned, they don't have to be like this hard, like really intense thing. It can be getting out a piece of paper and with your pencil or pen, just like drawing something that is coming to you and just giving yourself that free reign to be able to express yourself. And as you said, like your breathing naturally regulates because you have to be in the present moment when you're creating versus those of us who have anxiety, right? Trying to be so far into the future. It's like it really does a great way of grounding you in the present. What are you creating now, right? What is your creative, like the things that are coming to you, right? To put on the paper or to sing, right? All these different things that we have within us can really be expressed in that way. I love that. I love I want to ask you, yes, what has healing look like for you just in your creative practice? Any tips that you want to share with other people who are maybe restarting their creative practice and how healing that can be to really give yourself space to express those parts of yourself because within the society we really don't have time and space necessarily to pick back up the things that we used to do, right? The maybe drawing, maybe painting, all these things that really made us feel alive. Anything you want to share around like the encouragement maybe for people who are picking back up the practice of their art?
Yeah. So I think there's like two parts to the question. So I want to make sure the first part where you said what has it looked like for me, I just want to be real. It's just like up and down and up and
Mm-hmm.
down and like
Mm-hmm.
times where I had like a month where I was drawing and painting every day and times where I didn't, touch anything creative for like 2 months. Um, but then as I, made the conscious choice, like I feel better when I live a creative life to return to it. Those times where I'm not creating, um, those like long breaks are shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, um, I come back to creativity more regularly, and I think that's normal. And like as you're healing, it's a journey, and it's like not always like
Yes.
direct, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm choosing to heal, I'm healed, like, um
Yes.
um so yeah, I'm still like on the journey, and it's a continuous practice. And so any advice for people that are looking to tap back into their creativity is just whenever you feel that urge to create, or like that nudge, or you're just thinking about it, like, I wonder what if, I wonder what it would be like if, like, you get to control that, like figure out how you can do that right now, as small as you can in this moment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just start listening to those nudges, those nudges to create. And if you're in a time and space like where life is just super, super busy, I for sure have been there. Try and make it as easy as possible for yourself to create, and make it like so it's accessible to you like in any small pocket of time. If you have like, I don't know, say you're at work and you're waiting for a meeting to start, and you're a musician, like how can you have music in that moment? Can you tap on your thigh and like make a little quick drum beat? If you're an artist, can you have a pencil and paper always with you, so you can access those moments? If you're not sure and you haven't created in a really, really long time, and you have no clue what creative thing may be calling to you, can you every Sunday decide to try something different creative? Go to the
Mm.
library, take a class. Yeah, I just want to encourage people just to start as small as you can, right away,
Yes.
because I mean, like the payoff is just it's just so big. And the easier you can make it, the easier it's going to be. There's no shame in taking the easy way out. Like I love the easy way.
Mm. Ooh. Yes. That is so important. And thank you so much for sharing that, that you can start small, right? You can start by like reactivating the sense of like creativity within you. And then it kind of has this ripple effect throughout your life. Sometimes we think that it's like not legitimate if we just write on a piece of paper, but it is, right? You're practicing your gift, you're allowing that energy to flow through you. And that's so important for healing. And so, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. As we are winding our conversation down, I want to ask just a small, compassionate practice that someone listening could try this week. Maybe an art practice or something else that's coming up for you if someone's looking to venture into art again or creativity.
Yeah, so a small compassionate practice that I was thinking of was like a lot of these things that we're thinking like, oh, you know, I'm not good enough, or like who am I, or I'm too busy, I don't have time, like whatever it may be. Every time those thoughts come to you, or um yeah, every time you have those kinds
Mm-hmm.
of thoughts, just stopping, acknowledging those thoughts, and if you feel strong enough to say like, tell yourself the opposite of it, like, why not me?
Mm, mm-hmm.
Use that as a creative practice, to like rebuttal those thoughts, if they come to mind, and just start that start that creative journey within yourself, first. Every time you hear that negative voice, be
Mm-hmm.
creative and rebellious and question it. If that feels too much, or like, yeah, then maybe every time you hear that voice, just give yourself a little hug. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. That would be like the small thing I would say, because I think even choosing to get, even though it's super small, like having the audacity to get out paper and draw when you haven't drawn since you were like 4, it
Mm-hmm.
can be a big deal. So yeah, just start with in yourself with that like little quiet whisper. I think I can do it. Little me was an artist, whatever it is, just starting to
Yes.
have those kind conversations with yourself. Lots of hugs
Mm,
to yourself.
I love that. Yes. Kind of like replacing that inner critical message with one that is supportive on your journey, right? No matter how small it starts, the fact that you're doing it, that's the win. The fact that you're like reactivating this sense within you, you're taking your power back, right? And you're refusing to repeat these messages that this isn't for you, it should be bigger, it should be more legitimate. Like, no, I can start here. And this is my creative practice as a way to heal. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And Danny says, such a beautiful reminder to embrace self. I agree. I agree. So, yes, y'all, Marissa will be the guest facilitator for week 2 of Silence Your Inner Critic. We start this Sunday, January 11th. If you would like to join us, here's a link to do so. This is a 4-week healing program for Black women to release self doubt, come into our authenticity, start to separate ourselves from the inner critic, voices that we've internalized. Marissa will be walking us through a really powerful art exercise that she did in cohort 1 for us to depict who the critic is, who we are, some messages that we're repeating to ourselves internally to start to create that distance, right, between our authentic self. And so I'm so excited for week 2. But yes, if you'd like to join us, the link is in the description as well. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for being here, Marissa, for sharing everything that you have shared. Every time we speak, I feel like I have new revelations just about life in general. So I just want to say my appreciation. Danny says, thank you so much, ladies, for everything you do. You're so welcome. Thank you for this. Thank you. Yeah, and any last words about just stopping self criticism, embracing creativity, being gentle with yourself on the healing journey that you would like to share?
Um, hmm, I think the last word that's coming to me right now is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you deserve to be nurtured. Yeah, you deserve it. and that self critic, that's not you. And yeah, good on you for
Mhm.
wanting to take this first step, and just, yeah, you're enough. You deserve the work that it takes to fully embrace yourself. I think that was like the hardest thing for me to believe at first. So I just want to encourage anybody that's listening, like, you're enough, you deserve it.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you for that. You deserve to be nurtured. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. Again, Silence Your Inner Critic starts this Sunday, January 11th. It is a 4-week program, and sliding scale pricing is available if you'd like to join us. Again, thank you to my amazing guest, Marissa T, who's an incredible artist, healing facilitator, who will be the guest facilitator during week 2. And yes, y'all, with that, I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching. And until next time. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.